Evening all, and welcome to episode 42 of Kerbalism. Now, last time, Bob went and collected the science from the 3 different biomes nearby, and here he is on his way back to the lander, all ready to go home. And a very quick trip back. It's much easier coming downhill than it is up. You just fire the jetpack once, and because Minmus has no real gravity, you just sort of float down very gently. But we're here. We are back at the lander. The lander does have other scientific experiments that could be done in those different biomes, but doesn't really have the fuel for it. So I'm not going to try and take it over there and then end up stranded them here. I'm already a little concerned that I'm not going to be able to actually slow down enough to dock back with the station. But yeah, I think, seeing as I'm not really using any of the monopropellant here, I'm going to enable these as thrusters just to give me a little bit more oomph, a little bit more power. Not a great deal. They don't really do wonders. I don't even think that's enough to lift us off the surface of Minmus. But yeah, we need to be heading to that way is I always get confused by the compass here. We need to head 90 degrees, don't we? Is that correct? I hope that's correct, because that's what I'm going to go with. Full thrust. Let's head 90 degrees, which is that way. And probably find out. Nah, yes, that's the right way. Yes, excellent, good. Yeah, I knew what I was talking about, even if you didn't believe me. I always get very confused when the craft landed, because when you're in EVA mode, you can move the camera around it moves the compass, so you can figure out which way to face. But when the craft landed and it's at a slight angle, I'm never quite sure which way I'm supposed to lean. I do know that on the compass, if you press W to bring your nose down, it's going to be down on the compass. So it's just remembering that. Just remembering that is the issue. Right. So we want to carry on firing here and try and leave. There we are. That's what we want to do, I think. I feel as if I may have got this completely wrong. Yes, I think I fired off. Yeah, I've come out that way. I should have come out that way. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, so this is going to be very interesting. We have got plenty of food. Food is not an issue. But we need 270 meters a second at Delta V. We have 125. I have made a mistake. I have made quite a serious mistake. So let's see whether the RCS can help us out here. Let's enable my RCS and slow us down a bit. Let's bring in my periaps down. That's what I want. I want to try and get caught in orbiting Minmus again, and then fire off the engine a different way to try and come out a bit slower. And there we are, caught in the gravity of Minmus. If I add a maneuver here to... No, I want to probably do it back here somewhere, don't I? Let's see now. Right. Yeah, so I've got about 125 meters a second left. So if I do this and burn at 125, which is to do about there, I can get 6.5 million kilometers away, which is a problem. because that's not good enough. 6,850, yep, that's about the best I can do. 6,532, and then we're completely out of fuel. I wonder. I'm just trying to figure out some things of if I lower my orbit down by firing my RCS, then I could try and get any closer. I don't think I can here. Nope, I don't think this is helping at all. Try that there. That's 7.9, that's even further out. Right, so, yeah. I have made the mistake, once again, of not building the craft correctly, i.e. I'm not sure. Well, I know what I've done. What I've done is I figured out exactly what I needed to get to Minmus and then get back to orbit of Kerbal. But that's on an absolutely ideal place, like landing on the equator and then firing the engine up and going perfectly. Not doing what I just did there and firing too much. Should always go up to orbit and then do your maneuvers. Never fire them straight away. Lesson learnt. Lesson learnt the hard way, unfortunately. So, right. I think I shall just burn off all the fuel at our manoeuvre at the periaps. Yeah. See what happens. So apparently we're going to be firing retrograde. Really? I don't think we are. I don't think that's right. Well, I'm very confused by that. Apparently we're going to be firing retrograde. That doesn't... But we should be firing prograde. Shouldn't we? That has just utterly confused me, and I don't think that's correct. So I'm going to fire prograde. I'm going to ignore the marker and fire. Apparently we are facing retrograde. Are we not controlling from the right place? Ah, what an idiot. I've just wasted some fuel and yes, that's not the most smart thing to do. I still had it set to surface, and on the surface we were travelling the opposite direction to the orbit because Minmus is spinning, I suppose, different ways. So yes, that was a very foolish mistake. So we need to fire the engine that way. Pretty much just burn off all the fuel and hope a lot. hope that we can once again build a rescue mission to come and rescue Jeb and Bob. So there we are out of fuel. We do have some RCS left, I think. Monopropellant, yes, we've got some of that left, but not really sure if I should fire that now or wait till we get. No, I think we'll wait till we transfer out of the sphere of influence of Minmus. We are back on a course for Kerbal, point retrograde, and fire the engines again with our maneuver monopropellant, sorry, and see how low this can get before the monoprop runs out. Well, it seems I have clearly underestimated the power of monopropellant, because after a rather long burn, we've managed to get the periapse down to just under 60 kilometers. That's in the atmosphere. That means we'll get aero braking and can actually bring this home. We've got 11.74 units of monopropellant left, which should be enough to raise our periapse back up to a decent orbit. It will need rescuing though. There's no way I can get this manoeuvred in to meet the station like this that I can think of. There probably is a way, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to try and bring down the apparatus and yeah, build a small rescue craft to go out, give it a bit of fuel, and I think we're good. They've got plenty of food on board. 51 days of food, 51 days of water, so they're fine for that. So barring the sun doing its massive explosion thing, I think we're actually going to be okay. So I've set an alarm for the pod to get to periapse an hour before periapse, so we'll have plenty of time to make sure it doesn't burn up in re-entry. And I've come back to here because I'm getting very fed up with being unable to time warp. As soon as I get to about 1,000 time warp, you get about 10 seconds of it, and then get the warning that Kinesia Station is running out of battery power. I know it's a bug, I don't know how to fix it or do anything with it, so my solution is to build a craft. A craft that has one of these in it, an IFS supercapacitor. These, I'm trying to for the life of me remember the name of the mod. Let me have a quick look at my list here. Yes, IFS, Interstellar Fuel Switch, that was the one. These work a little bit differently to batteries. You would have them in conjunction with batteries. You can see they're quite large. And the idea behind them is you set this here to what you want. If I was to set it to, say, 50, it would charge this battery up to 50% power and then stop. And then once this battery gets above 50% power, it would take the power out of the battery to then charge this back up in megajoules. And if you put it down there, it would just charge this up higher than, it would take out that there. So yeah, the idea would be to set this to about 50% or so, have it up there, and it can take out power from this and put it in there. This stores do 90 megajoules, which equates to about 9,000 electricity, I believe. I can't for the life of me remember the exact numbers, but I think it's 9,000 to 9. So one of these is going to be well enough to charge our station and hopefully keep it alive throughout the odd thing that's happening. I'm kind of guessing there's a problem with the solar panels charging the batteries at high time warp. Maybe they're... I did turn the script off so they don't retract and escape again. They just stay as they are. The only script that's on it is if the power goes low, turn the greenhouses off to save energy. That's firing every time it goes into the dark side, unless I'm actually on the craft. If I'm on it, physically on the actual vessel watching it go around Kerbal, the batteries never drop that low. They never drop below sort of 60%. So Yeah, something's amiss there, but I need to launch this. I need to get this up into orbit and attach it somehow to the craft, the station. The best way to do that is to just literally attach docking clamps to it. One there, and flip that over. One there. And send that up as is, grab a tug, plug it onto the end where the solar panels are, I suppose. It won't look pretty, but as long as it does the job, that's all that really matters. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why is that so big if all I've got is a capacitor? Well, I haven't. I actually have in here, which you can't really see, a vessel with monopropellant and fuel on board. Because I thought, if I'm going to be launching something into orbit, I might as well launch the rescue craft with it. Very simple, very primitive. Literally got a docking port on the front of it, a probe, and fuel and monopropellant. That's really it. So, yeah. This is quite light. Be able to get up into orbit quite easily. We want to go to 150 orbit, don't we? Station. Yes, our science buggy is still spinning around. Yes, 150. No, So yes, don't push the switch to button. Instead, push the target button. That's what we wanted. So let's wait for Kinesia Station to come to where it needs to be. About here somewhere. Well, that's a bit too far, but let's launch and see you up there. And here we are, next to the station. I overshot the launch originally, and then whilst I was planning a little manoeuvre to try and figure out how I could meet the station, I managed to get a 200-meter intercept, which I'm very, very happy about. So, I can decouple this straight away. Point this one retrograde. And this one can actually go and towards the target, to be honest with you. This is very manoeuvrable, very light. And rescue probe is shutting down because of no power. That's because I need to change that. No? It could be this one. It could be that one. Yes, this one has no power because its solar panels aren't getting any oomph. So let's fire the engine up on this one, and well, we'll let it go because it can deorbit all on its own. In fact, we'll fire the engine to full power. Why not? Off it goes. And yeah, that should be able to quite happily be returned back to Kerbal for our stage recovery to recover. So let's use the power of RCS. To move this towards our target. Control from here makes life so much easier. And I can see we're upside down. That's easy enough cured. There we are. And once I get close enough, I'll get one of the probes to grab this capacitor, and we can see whether this can try and meet up with our lovely people who are, well, kind of falling from the sky. And there we are. We have been grabbed by the probe. Let's decouple this one, and then turn this around. Do-do. Or from here again, because for some reason we were somewhere else. And head up to our target. Now we want to actually go a bit above our target because we're coming into a very weird angle. So by putting the green marker, the way we're actually travelling above the pink one, it means we will actually fly above it, fly past it above. Of course, we don't want to go too much because we don't want to fly past it all. Oh, there we are. That's going to be a very quick hit. Bang! Turn the RCS and the SCS off. And there we are. We are hooked. That now means that this will discharge its megajoules down when the batteries are below 50%. Which, whilst we're sat here, won't ever happen. Because the electric charge just doesn't drop below 50% when I'm here. So if I was to change this to 100%, you'll see... Boom, our battery power is up to full whack, and we've only used 0.8. It's used absolutely nothing of it. So if I leave that at 100%, that would keep our batteries charged all the time. So let's drop it to 75. And then when our batteries drop below 75% power, 12,000, almost 12,000 power. My mental maths isn't good enough to know what that is, but when it drops below 75%, that will kick in and keep ourselves charged. And if that runs out, I'd be impressed. I'd be very impressed. That's 9,000. I think that might be 90,000 joules, 90,000 electric charge. So if that goes flat, there is definitely an issue with our solar panels not working when at high time warp. But anyway, we need to get this lined up with our other pod, which for the minute is nowhere near. She's got 8 days before she comes home. So what I might do instead is dock with the station. And we've lost power onto it. Of course. It's only got the little electric charge that's inside this pod here. There's 10 electric charge, and that's going to use too much. So we need to go around to the sunlight. I don't know how far we're going to be away from the station once we get to daylight. There we are. So let's aim for this one instead, if I can right click on it. There we are. Right. So, there we go. Got to be very careful with this because it's not really designed for running a lot. It's clearly... I didn't think about putting a battery on it, which is ironic considering that's what I was doing this launch for. But, oh well. That's how things go. Use our wonderful friend Time Warp to get over there nice and quickly. Actually going to overshoot the mark there somewhat, so we don't want to do that. Just got to remember to come out of Time Warp before you're too close to the station, because whilst in Time Warp, you can fly through another object. And flying through the station and then coming out of Time Warp whilst you're inside another object isn't good for your health or the object that you're nearby. It can cause spontaneous combustion, release of the Kraken, all sorts of stuff you generally don't want to happen. Try and straighten the station up here because we're a bit... I'm not really sure quite what's going on there. We were a bit leaning over. I really shouldn't be using time warp to level the station out. That is a bit cheaty, but it's easy. I could install persistent rotation. That's a mod that means that when you go to time warp, things continue to spin. So if you've got a little tiny kink in your orientation and you go to 1,000 time warps, you'll start spinning like a lawn dart. It's quite strange, but not lawn dart. Lawn darts fly straight. Sorry, you'll start spinning like a top. That's what I was trying to say. So now what I need to do is wait 8 days for them to come down and hopefully aerobrake a bit and bring their orbit down. I could go and meet them with this thing, but I'd rather not. I'd rather wait for them to come down and slow down using aerobraking. If their orbit's smaller, it's less fuel to get this to actually go to meet them. So yeah, that's the next plan. To pull the antenna before I forget, because I don't want to go out of range and oh dear. Not that it should go out of range, it should stay in quite low Kerbal orbit. That's the plan. But we'll have to see how the plan folds out, because, well, although I didn't manage to blow their engine up, I did manage to get them stranded. And what's this? About the dozenth time I've had to send a rescue craft for something? Yep, Kerbal rescue program is still in full swing. So I have been over to the pod and brought her a fair bit closer. As you can see, she's come from right at Minmus to about halfway. However, I'm still getting the same bug. If I accelerate to 1,000 times time warp, Kinesia Station apparently runs out of power, even with this capacitor on it. The very annoying thing, however, was that the second or third time I accelerated up to 1,000 times time warp, Bill Kerman actually froze to death. I don't know what happened, why it happened, or how I'm wrong, but I very quickly went back a save actually, because that's not on. That's a bug that's not right at all. Here, obviously, I can only warp up to 100 times, but as you'll see from this here, the megajoules here, during the dark period around the back of Kerbal, we dropped down to 88. We used two megajoules during the dark period, and then it fully recharges. So something at 1,000 time warp is breaking something somewhere with those solar panels. The idea I've had is to boost the station up to a larger orbit. I can only warp up to 100 whilst below 240,000 kilometers. So I was thinking to set it up to 250, and then I can accelerate to 1,000 times and just see what happens when I'm actually here at the station. I don't know whether it will fix the bug when I'm elsewhere, but it'd be interesting to see. So that's the slight detour we're going to have here. I'm just not entirely sure how to do it. I mean, I've got these engines here, but I'm not convinced firing them is a good idea. Centre of weight is difficult to understand here as well. I think it's about around there. I think that's about the centre of weight, because these are heavy. This is obviously off on one side and causing hassle, and I'm just wondering whether this little engine here might be enough to do it. I suppose there's only real one way to find out, isn't there? Let's control from here. We will turn the SAS on and point ourselves prograde. I'm just hoping that it's going to be enough to keep this all from spinning out of control. I could enable my RCS. I think I am going to do that. I think let's aim the camera down here. I'm going to disconnect this little tug. Where are we here? Unlock. And I'm going to put the tug up here. The idea being that if I have a tug there and a tug on the other side, I can enable the RCS and maybe use it to stabilise whilst we fire. I'm not sure. We've got a couple of RCS thrusters down here as well, so it just spreads the thrusters out. That's the idea, really. Okay, turn off everything. Let the inertia pull it in, and the paramagnet grabs it there. So, right. Point ourselves prograde. Activate this engine here. We have got RCS on this as well here, so hopefully that will be enough to hold us in place whilst we're boosting ourselves up. But we'll go with this, and well, I'll come back when we're somewhere closer to 250 kilometer orbit. And here we are, up at 250,000 meters. As you can see from the orientation, I got fed up with this engine here. It was slightly off center, and doing any long burns with it just basically caused the station to eventually slip over. So I thought, well, I've got these four engines that all point different directions, and I think the weight's about even across the sides. It certainly is even enough for the SAS to hold it stable, so that's what we've done, and we are here. We're up at 250,000 meters above the surface. All I need to do now is actually point ourselves the correct orientation, which I will simply do that. Speed up time and see what happens once we get there, because it never quite works out how you expect. There we are, that one is okay. So now we need to roll to stand ourselves up. Not that it particularly matters what the orientation of the station is, but well, I just generally want that to be the top, so that's what we're going to go with. Roll over. We do have a damaged solar panel down here. I'm not sure when that happened, but it did at some point. So I might get Jeb out to Bill out to fix that in just a moment. But there we go. That looks good. I want to now hold that steady, because if I left it prograde, the station would turn with the planet and the solar panels would turn away. So right. Let's accelerate time, and we'll have a look at our electric charge, which is there at the top. And I'll leave it on 100 first, just to find out how long we stay in the darkness of the planet, in the shadow of Kerbal. Bring up that as well to see where the capacitor goes to. And it would appear it's about the same, maybe a little bit less in fact. So let's go up to 1,000 time and see what's happening here. And being slowed down by time warp. Ah, okay, so with all this faffing about with the station, the pod is actually on the approach to Kerbal. It will be entering the atmosphere again. Fairly soon. There she is. She's an hour out. So that's going to be coming down pretty damn fast. But we shall jump over to her and deal with her re-entry and hopefully get some error braking. But that's going to have to wait until next time. So, thank you very much for watching. I will try and get on to doing some things that are a bit more exciting, because I've been having about with little things here and there for a while, and need to get on with some stuff. Actually, get on with doing things. But yeah. But hopefully you'll stick with me. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you again in the next episode. And as always, of course, have fun.